was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was an end. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit of my life and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for
Hallelujah! I am free in the Spirit. I'm only here for God. How about you? Good morning. I am the new year. I am the new year. I am an unspoiled page in your book of time. I am your opportunity to practice what you have learned about life during the last 12 months. All that you sought and didn't find is hidden in me, waiting for you to search for it, but with more determination. All the good that you tried for and didn't achieve is mine to grant when you have fewer conflicting desires. All that you dreamed but didn't dare to do, all that you hoped but did not will, all the faith that you claimed but did not have, these slumber lightly, waiting to be awakened by the touch of a strong purpose. I am your opportunity to renew your allegiance to him who said, "Behold, I make all things new." May this be the best, happiest, richest, healthiest, kindest, most loving year of your life so far, and so it is. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready to see through a new lens, a new spiritual lens in this new year?
Yes.
Many of you know that our 2020 Pledge Partnership is themed as 2020 Vision, seeing through a spiritual lens. So what if everything you're going through right now that you have been going through is preparing you for a dream bigger than you can imagine? What if? Amen? Today, as you know, is the day we experience our annual ritual that we call the Burning Bowl. Yay! Now, here, hold on, I'm a little cold. You want to make s'mores? Come down front. We have the last few years been doing the Fizzy Bowl version of the Burning Bowl. Symphony Space is so strict. They still won't let us burn things up in here. And they don't like it out in front on Broadway either. So we've done things a little differently, but we're here to shake it up. And today we are returning in a new way to the Burning Bowl. This is going to be an opportunity, as it always is, for all of us to honor the past year and to welcome this new year that has already come. We're already here. Yes? Yes. Okay, it is here. So today what is going to happen is there are going to be a number of parts to this today where we are going to release, we're going to express gratitude, we're going to write letters to and from. Are you ready for the experience? Yeah. I know you are because you showed up and you look great. You all look beautiful. So what's happening is we remember today that it's important to mark the passing of seasons, the passing of time, the passing of years, and to be grateful for what they brought us. Has anybody else been through anything challenging in the past year? I didn't say you had to raise your hand. I always love how on occasion Carlos says, raise your right hand if you've ever been through anything so difficult you didn't know how you would make it through it, and everybody raises their hand. And if somebody doesn't, they're lying, and we pray for them anyway. We love them. And then he says, and keep your hand up, and then raise your left hand if you made it through it. And then look, everyone's singing hallelujah. Because there's not a person in here who has not been through it. And those are our gifts. Those are the rings around our trunk, aren't they? Those are the things that keep us going, really. Otherwise, we'd be living this joy-filled flat line of existence and never growing and expanding in consciousness. So today we have a chance to reflect. We have an opportunity to reflect on all that life has meant and to set an intention for how we want to move forward. We are opening up a space today for something new. We come together today to prayerfully support each other in community as we release negative, limiting thoughts that often turn into limiting beliefs in our lives, and to establish a whole new awareness of truth. That's really what today is about. Now, as the 23rd Psalm says, Yo they, yea, yo they, yea though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I shall fear no evil. Yes, some of you just acknowledged that we do experience darkness. But we are walking through the valley. Yes? We're walking through the valley. And what do we not do? Whatever you said, it probably sounded a little bit like we don't build a condo or buy one If our funds are a little on the lower side, we don't pitch a tent, sit in a lawn chair. We're moving through. Now, sometimes we have to stop and rest and cry and grieve and process and get through. But we always get through. You are proof right now that we get through because you are here right now. You are living proof. The purpose of this ritual is not as a memorial to the past. And it's not a time of wishful thinking for the future. It's not magic. This is a time of definite work of denial and affirmation in consciousness. Every now and then we talk about denials because they tend to get a little shortchanged in unity because we're so affirmative. Unity is based in affirmative prayer. But we got to deny what's going on. It always amazes me. There are still some people that have the concept that, unity, they're just so happy. They don't think about anything. It's like, We talk about what we go through that gets us through it, don't we? We absolutely do. So this is about a cleansing of the old and an infilling of the new through the Spirit of truth. It's not magic. It's a time that we release the past, especially that which no longer serves us. And we lay hold of our good in the now and for the future. We say goodbye to last year's thoughts. We don't hate them. We just thank them. We just thank them and say goodbye. They're done. We don't need them anymore. We have everything we need in this now moment. That's what we're here to remember. The thoughts of right now are what we are celebrating and focusing on to move forward. That is the space that we are creating. So we're doing this today by denying the error thoughts and the behavior patterns that we want to eliminate, and we lay hold of our good by affirming. Affirming means making firm, affirming the patterns of true thoughts that will bring the good that we truly desire into manifestation. How many of you have never done a letter to God? Anybody here never done a letter to God? Raise your hands. Don't be afraid. Yay. Hallelujah. I want to tell you a little story about one letter to God in particular that changed my life and got me to this moment. Now we know that every single moment in our lives got us to this moment, yes? Every moment got us right here. Everything we didn't know how to get through, but we did get through, got us right here. So, Manhattan, 1996. It was spring. The calla lilies were in bloom. The daffodils were popping from the earth. It was April. And I had gone to a weekend workshop with Marianne Williamson. Now this is 1996. She was very important. Some of you know, I've shared before. She was very important at the beginning of my journey. I found my way to unity through Marianne back then. And I had done this weekend workshop, and on the final afternoon of the workshop, she said without any warning, she said, okay, people are passing out paper. If you don't need it, don't take it, but I have ushers passing out paper. If you need paper to write a letter to God, get the paper. And people were going, what? Because she didn't do any explanation. Letter to God, what? Letter to who? Why? You could feel the tension rise, and you could kind of hear it a little bit too, like in the room. So we all had paper and pen. And then she gave brief instructions. Write a letter to God. Write a letter to God about your life. And now, as an aside, I had been doing work for quite a while on The Artist Way. Remember The Artist Way by Julia Cameron?
Yeah.
Julia Cameron led our very first Unity of New York retreat in the winter of 2000, I believe it was. And that's a whole other talk. Anyway, that was an experience. But I had been working on her book, The Artist Way. And the morning pages are kind of a version of a letter to God. You just write. No specific purpose, you just write. So I'm like, look at these people freaking out. I know how to write a letter to God, dear God. And I just started writing. And it was like a Ouija board. My pen was just writing these things. And in my Artist Way work, I had been doing a lot of journaling. Just non-linear, just writing stuff. And my letter ended up saying, what am I really here to do? What am I really here to do? I had a decent career going. I was still acting back then and doing quite a bit of print work. And then when we finished, she said, I want you to turn the paper over and write a reply from God. And you really felt in the room. There were lots of people there. So I went, wow. Okay, I need to let this really go through me. And the reply went something like, you've been asking this question many times. And I think now you're ready to know. So you'll know soon enough. Love God. Thanks. Could that be more vague? So the next day on Monday, I was not working that day, and I was doing some things around the house. And I don't know if any of you have good intentions with your mail all the time. I think I'm in my 4th decade of putting this in my letter to God to let that habit go of letting the mail pile up, and then 6 months later I'll go through it and purge it and do something with it. And that particular day when I checked the mail, now this is when I was going to Unity Center. Eric Butterworth was there. And they had a bi-monthly newsletter called The Centerpiece. It went out every 2 months. And I really wanted to read it, and it would go in that pile. And then about 6 months later, I'm like, God, I'm probably not going to read this now, along with the newspaper that I got that day. I should probably really start purging these things. But that day I read it, and it was welcoming the new associate minister. His name was Paul Tenaglia, or however you pronounced it. And it was welcoming him, and he wrote a letter of, hi, I'm glad to be here, this is who I am. And I went, this is really cool. This sounds exciting. This guy who used to be in theater, and he's moving here from San Francisco, and he had a little blurb in the centerpiece that he wanted to start a vocal ensemble, a professional vocal ensemble at Unity Center for Practical Christianity. It didn't even have a name yet. He was accepting pictures and resumes. This shot through me, reading this shot through me from every cell of my being. And I got so excited. I went, oh wow. It was just 24 hours ago that God wrote this letter back to me saying, you'll know soon enough. And it was so important to me that I knew where my picture and resume was going. I didn't put it in the mail. I took it because I saw that he was teaching a noon class the next day, and so I took it there. And mine was the first one he got. And that was the beginning of Spiritus, 1996. The very first thing we ever did was sing a song. We learned a song and sang it as a surprise for Eric Butterworth's birthday in September. And that letter to God changed my life. It's why I'm here, right here, with all of you today, because of that letter to God. And I share that story with you because of the power in that, the possibility. What is it Oprah has said before? I'm pregnant with possibility. We are pregnant with possibility. And today we have come together in like-mindedness, in unity, and that power is amplified. That power that brings us together is amplified. So, first we do release. And I want to tell you that as we begin the process, you're going to be guided every step of the way in the process. It's going to be so simple. All you have to do is be present, be willing, be available, and there's no way to do this wrong. There will be instructions, and there's no way to do this wrong. And it's important to remember that as we release what we no longer want, whether it's thoughts or experiences are done anyway, but sometimes we carry them, don't we? We carry them by chain, dragging them forward with us. And some of those you may still want. You may be getting a good workout from it. I don't know. But this is about really going within and knowing what it is you're ready to release, to let go of. And while we need to be specific, we don't need to get so specific that we get caught in the weeds. You know the old adage that when we pray, the words are for us by the time we're expressing. The vibration is already in prayer. So that's what this prayerful experience is about. So I invite you today into your own very personal, very sacred experience as we move into this ceremony together. Now in your bulletin, you should have 2 pieces of smaller paper and an envelope with a large piece of paper. Does anyone not have that and need that? If so, raise your hand. Scott, down front. Anybody else? Scott, I think you're the only, wow, okay. Oh, and there's someone back there in the back. You're not in the light. I can't see whose hand that is, so. Okay, so our ushers are going to bring around to you whatever you need. If you need those couple of scrap pieces of paper, the smaller paper, and don't do anything with them yet. And also, if you need a pen, you're going to need a pen for this. Ushers are walking around with pens. Just keep your hand raised. And there's no need to do anything yet. There's no need to write anything yet. Yeah. Just keep your hands raised if there's anything you need as the ushers are going around. And this ritual actually is an ancient blessing. There's a history to the ritual that was created in the Nahuatl language in Mexico. And it deals with forgiveness, affection, detachment, and liberation. And so some of the ideas, some of the origins of this ritual may have gone something like this. I release my parents from the feeling that they have already failed me. I release my children from the need of bringing pride to me, that they may write their own ways according to their hearts that whisper all the time in their ears. Edwin Gaines likes to say, remember that God doesn't have any grandchildren. We're all children of God, including yours. I release my partner from the obligation to complete me. I do not lack anything. I learn with all beings all the time. I thank my grandparents and forefathers who have gathered so that I can breathe life today. I release them from past failures and unfulfilled desires, aware that they have done their best to resolve their situations within the consciousness they had at that moment in time for them. I honor you, I love you, and I recognize you as innocent. Learning through and only through love, I bless my essence, my way of expressing, even though somebody may not understand this. I understand myself because I alone have lived and experienced my history. Yes, nobody else knows it. And because I know myself and I know who I am, what I feel, what I do, and why I do it, I respect and approve of myself. I honor the divinity in me, and I honor the divinity, therefore, in you. We are free. So as we begin this process, I'm going to invite you into a time of meditation and in song as we begin the process. Now, many of you already know these words. Some of you don't. And I invite you now to close your eyes. Take a breath and release it. Just take a breath and release it. We breathe in God. We breathe out love. We breathe in love. And we breathe out God. And we breathe in love. And we breathe out God. And we breathe in God. And we breathe out love. So you can either join in or just let the words wash over you. We allow this sweet vibration of music and of truth and declaration and affirmation in these words. I release and let go. I release and let go in the silence, oh my soul. I release and let go, oh my soul. I forgive every wrong. I forgive every wrong as I sing the simple song. I forgive every wrong, oh my soul. Let these words seep in deeper. I release and let go in the silence, oh my soul. I release and let go, oh my soul. I forgive concentration continue to deepen within you, relaxing from the top of your head as you move down your forehead, your eyebrows, your cheeks. Relax your jaw, all that tension that you've held. Just relax. Moving down your neck and your shoulders. Let the shoulders drop. I release and I let go. I forgive every wrong that I've ever interpreted as being so. And as we begin this time together, we settle into remembering that there is only God. There is only God. And the presence of God is permeating this very space, every cell, every atom, every heart, every thought. Right now we are in an unending sea of love, wisdom, healing, strength, power, and peace. Sweet, sweet peace and gratitude. We are floating right now in a sea of gratitude. And now consider, not from your head, but from your heart, what things you might be ready to let go of. Thoughts, beliefs. And when you're ready, I invite you to, on one of the small pieces of paper, start writing down what you'd like to let go of. Not in detail. You know the details. Even if it's just a word of expression or reminder, there's a power that is moving down from your heart, down your arm, into your hand, into this pen. And our prayer chaplains are already holding sacred space, amplifying the power that is already in this room together. So on that one piece of paper, you may not have a lot. If you feel like you do, write small. This is your journey. This is what you are releasing and willing to release to make room for the new. And as you write, I allow these words to be the words of your own heart. Today, I am ready to release anything that stands in the way of my knowing and being one with Spirit. I release habits, behaviors, regrets, disappointments, experiences, something I've considered to be a mistake, though in truth there are none. Sorrows, sadnesses, guilt, self-judgment. And as you write, the walls of separation are melting down, free from the bondage of the past. I now release, I now let go, I now surrender completely. I surrender completely in this time of quiet reflection. I'll give you about 30 more seconds to finish that. This is not an inventory of your entire life. This is what is on your heart in this moment, in this now moment, to make room in this now moment. We're pulling the weeds in the garden and planting new seeds. And when you are finished with that, I invite you to take the other piece of paper, the small piece of paper, the second one, and jot down and express what you're grateful for. And I'll give you a hint that one of the things as a coverall is everything that you just wrote down to be released. We are putting gratitude right on top of what we thought was bad or wrong. And again, there is no such thing. There is only that which we call it. And right now in this process, there may be old tapes that begin to play again, saying, oh, you're not enough. What are you doing? You've done this before. Or maybe you've never done it before. Are you going to do it wrong? Is it going to create something more? And this is the safe space to release all of that. Old tapes, new tapes, being reminded that you are enough exactly as you are. Exactly as you are. And when you are ready with both of those pieces of paper, I invite you to come down to the front. And first I invite our prayer chaplains to come down and continue. I believe it's Sarah and Melanie. Yeah, I noticed, because I can see you, I noticed the look of surprise from some prayer chaplains going, "What? You're good." Two of our co-directors, Sarah and Melanie, are going to stand right here and hold space. As you begin the process of releasing into these very divine trash bags, we used to call them cosmic. If that works for you, work it. These are divine trash bags, and whenever you're ready, you can come on down and start releasing into these trash bags. And what's going to happen, this is the burning part, aside from the flame right here in front of us. Tonight, I will be taking all of these and blessing them, praying over them, and having a burning ceremony for you with all of these today. So this is the release, the gratitude. And I ask you to please remain silent, both of them, what you're releasing and what you're grateful for, to come on down. Don't do anything yet with the other paper. We'll get to that one. That's the letter to God. And I invite you to remain silent in this sacred process and just return to your seat when you're finished. Before I can get to the next part of the explanation, someone just shared with me that there's confusion. Why would we burn something that we're grateful for? We are purifying. We are making room. Your consciousness knows what you're letting go of and what you're willing to let go of. And as we also purify what we're grateful for, it's multiplied. You're putting out there what you want to release, and you're putting out there what you want more of, what you want more to be grateful for in your life. It's the light and the shadow working together. Without darkness, there is no light. Without light, there is no darkness. And we must have that dark of night. We must have that time in the womb. We must have time when we plant the seeds for the seeds to germinate and to grow into what they are here to become. And this is our divine unfoldment of what we are here to become. No matter what we may say to ourselves, what anyone else might have ever said to us, we know that we are enough.
Keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Tell me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing, and you say I am strong when I think I am weak, and you say I am held when I am falling short, and when I don't belong, you I find my strength, in you I find my identity. Oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing, and you say I am strong when I think I'm weak. You say I am held when I am falling short, when I don't belong. Oh, you say I'm loved, and I believe. Oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God, and you'll have every victory. Oh, you say I'm loved, but I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong. You say I'm what you say of me. I believe. Yes, I believe what you say of me.
I believe, no matter what anybody's ever said, I believe. So let's take another moment to go to that next place of stillness as we prepare to write the letter to God. We're going to date this letter December 31st, 2020. Just be in this space for a minute. What is this letter? What is this letter to God to say? You've just taken part in a process of transformation. Creating freedom, creating peace, accepting responsibility for life, for your own thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your reactions. Giving thanks. So now we've made room for our good, and we actually just created a spiritual vacuum. And now we're ready to fill that open space with our commitments and intentions for this coming year. So this is a time to record your soul's highest commitment for the year. And that can only come from your heart. This is a time of dedicating the next moments of your life to your true divine purpose. Again, there's no wrong way to do this. We open ourselves fully right now so that we may know Spirit's intention. How does God desire to express in and through me? How am I to be in this coming year? What is my life to be like? Mine to do? How is the world to be different because of me? Again, I invite you not to be too specific. If you know that you want a red Corvette, if it's that important to you, write it down. And if you don't have the keys yet on December 31st, write it down again next year. This is about the process of intention. And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. Give yourself a couple of freebies in this letter. Things that you know that you will be experiencing, doing, being. And note that whatever you write down, here's an important rule. It must be at least 50% believable. If you want to win the $300 million lottery, just ask yourself, are you really ready for $300 million?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hallelujah. Write it down. Stratton Smith uses an example in the 4T Prosperity Program that, do you believe that you could really go and fill the Grand Canyon with whipped cream? Where are you? This is your journey. This is your consciousness unfolding moment by moment, by moment, by moment. You might even keep it as simple as, dear Spirit, I have just experienced the best year yet in my life. And for this, I'm so grateful. When you're ready, on your envelope, make sure you address it to you, where you live. Don't send it to the Unity of New York office. We all have our letters to God. But this will be mailed back to you later next year. And by then you will probably have forgotten about it. And if you happen to have a stamp with you, that's wonderful. To put a stamp on it. And if you need more time to finish up, you can take this with you and finish it up. And you can either bring it next Sunday or drop it by the Unity office from Tuesday to Friday from 1 to 6. But again, don't go into too much detail. And when you're finished, just fold it up. And we keep the energy of blessing and gratitude that is in this space moving through. You've continued the process of moving energy from your heart, down your arm, down your hand, into these divine words, whatever they are for you. And at the end of the service today, on your way out, there will be ushers with bags to collect your letters. And we will hold these letters in prayer throughout the year. As I said, we will send them out late in the year, a year from now. And we bless these letters to go forth to do the work that they are intended to do. May these envelopes go forth with the blessings and the dreams of each person, already fulfilled in God mind, for this or something better. And we remember in the process of blessings and gratitude that we are so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed for all that God is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that God is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so, let's all sing together. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am, that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And so it is.
Hello, Unity family from the Hudson Valley. It is a clear, beautiful, very chilly night, and it's a perfect night for a fire. We had such a wonderful burning bowl and letter to God ceremony together this morning at Symphony Space. It was so good to see so many of you there. And I told you this morning that I would be completing our ritual this evening, and here we are. All that we released this morning, along with things we're grateful for, are contained on the sacred pieces of paper in this divine trash bag. They have been blessed and saturated in prayer, and they are right and ready for the purification process